I'm going to walk through the long version of the block to explain what is going right there. Then we'll switch to the short version of the block so I can explain what's not going right there. Let me back up to the very start. Here it is. Here's your mixed piece. Here's your head down piece. The mixed piece must turn counterclockwise such that the sit flyer is moving backwards if he were to move at all. Therefore, they must present degrees of rotation as if they're rotating counterclockwise. That means the view from this center point to them must traverse this path going around in this direction. That's the equivalent of achieving a counterclockwise 360 rotation. So let's see what they actually do here. Let me kill the audio. At this point, the center point of this piece has moved from there to there, so they're going in the right general direction. This piece seems to be showing some indication of starting to rotate a little bit, but hasn't gotten very far. Now the center point of the head down piece has moved from here all the way to here. So we've achieved almost 180 degrees of this piece's presented circumference. We're ignoring the requirement for this piece because that's not in contention. This piece hasn't shown much rotation by their own movement, but the translation of this piece around to here has achieved 180 for this piece. Move a little further forward. Now that this piece actually just threw in an extra 90 degrees of true rotation to the camera, while this piece just kind of continued moving in this direction, we're now about 90 degrees away from the completion of this piece's 360 presented rotation. All we have to do is get this guy over here. And there they continue in that same direction of rotation, and now we've pretty much presented the full 360, we just have to close grips. Okay? Looks good. Let's go on to the next one and see the same thing. Okay, here it is again. Here's the mixed piece. They're going to rotate counterclockwise. The head down piece is going to translate clockwise around them to help with that requirement of presented rotation. Their center point just moved from here to here, while this center point moved maybe from there to there. Perfectly legal. That achieved virtually almost 180 degrees of rotation of presented circumference for this piece already. That's the beauty of 3D technology. Now the center point moved from there to about there. The center point is starting to move a little bit in this direction while they attempt to accomplish a little bit more rotation. The view from here to here, they're still pretty much on the 180. We're still pretty much on the far side of the piece. So we haven't gone, oops, let me back that up. There was nothing really dramatic happened, but. They haven't achieved much more rotation for these guys. This guy, let me back up to the picture I was really talking about. Okay, that's a little closer to what we were talking about. So like I said, here's the center point. Their view of this piece is still the back side, which means they've gone a 180, maybe a little bit further. Once this guy kind of cuts in front, then we're looking at the 270 picture. That's roughly the 270 picture. Now the view from the center point through this piece is literally 90 degrees away from the completion. So that's 270 degrees of presented circumference. And there we close grips on the 360. The view here is now on the side where is on the original side of the piece. So that's how you achieve 360. So let's go to the short video. Here we are, beginning picture. Here's our mixed piece. Again, this piece has to present, is required to rotate counterclockwise, or effectively rotate counterclockwise by this the center point of this piece traversing this direction, hypothetically. Or they could just simply rotate the whole 360 by themselves if this center point doesn't move at all. Let's see what they actually do. Okay, in the first heartbeat of the block, not much has happened between in our view from the camera of this piece. We still see the sit flyer here, head down flyer there. The center point of this piece hasn't really moved at all, but it looks like they're going to take it in this direction. Now, unfortunately, when they do that, they're effectively causing this piece to present rotation in the wrong direction. You see that? They're going to get a view heading around this side, but that's inconsistent with this piece rotating counterclockwise presented to that center point. As we see, the view from here to there is still straight on. We haven't achieved any rotation yet for this subgroup. At this point, again, relative to this piece, we haven't really achieved much in terms of movement. This piece has clearly shown a 90-degree rotation. Now the view of the center point of this piece, which presumably I'm going to put right about there, that view cutting through to here means that this piece has now presented about 90 degrees of rotation in the correct direction, because the sit flyer is effectively going backwards. So we have 90 degrees in the correct direction, not much else going on yet. At this point, here is where you would argue for a little bit more than 90. We have the center point of the subgroup here. We have this center group here. Their view is now on the far side of the piece, but only barely. Like they've only, angle-wise, they've only come around maybe another graciously 45 more degrees. So maybe we could call this 135 degrees of presented rotation for this piece. Now in the final beat of this block is where nothing good happens. As they start moving back this direction, all they're really doing in their view from this center point to this center point is now they're undoing the turn that they've achieved so far. They're trying to work this way, and that's the wrong direction. The only way they could accomplish 360 for this subgroup is if this center group kept going around all the way around. But no, they've come around to this side, and now they're going to cut back the direction they came from. And there we have it, the subgroup simply moving across. So like I said, all we ever really achieved in this block was maybe, I'm going backwards here just for your edification. Now forwards again. All we've really achieved, this was the original side that the head down piece was relative to the mixed piece. They've managed to effectively move to here as a result of this piece rotating. And we've got about 135 degrees. We had the original 90 and a little bit more on this view. And then it changes direction and goes the wrong direction now. Can you see in that last beat that in terms of presented rotation, the sit flyer is actually moving forward now. Here's the grip. He's moving this direction. The sit flyer is not supposed to be enjoying the benefits of moving forward. He's supposed to be going backwards in this rotation. Starting from the top again. I don't know if I can go slow-mo, can I? Speed. Go quarter speed. Nice. Okay, so here we have the first 90 degrees of presented rotation, presented circumference by the mixed piece to the center point of the other subgroup. By continuing to rotate, they're sneaking around and getting maybe 135 degrees here. This is where I call it the 135, because this would be 90 and here's another 45. And now they change direction. Now that the center point is moving this way, that's effectively causing this piece to present its circumference in the wrong direction. And the sit flyer slides forward into the close.